the other night, you didn't really want to term this a wide open tournament, but the fact that it's so balanced with the bottom three teams beating three of the top teams last weekend, and it seems like maybe more than any other conference in America, this could be one of the most balanced from top to bottom with, the way it's been going. Can you just talk about that and how that goes for this week?
Yeah, looking at the clumping of teams, if I'm not mistaken, we got four within a win of the top last time I looked, so almost a four-way tie there. There was a five-way tie for sixth, or a four-way tie for sixth at 9-9, and then you've got, the teams at the bottom, us being amongst those teams. There's a heck of a lot of parity. At any point of the season you look, the teams at the bottom, I think Washington State and Oregon State's win at Colorado, our win at Oregon, kind of was the culmination of a league that was that way throughout most of the time, so it's all jumbled up. There's obviously not a lot of difference between the fifth through the ninth seed or sixth through the ninth seed. Not a lot of difference between the top four. It came down to a lot of tiebreakers. So it is wide open. I think there's going to be some great competitive basketball, and I'd be really curious to see, point differential when it's all said and done. I think it's going to be pretty tight. So it gives a lot of teams hope that are in the bottom, and I think the teams that are at the top have to certainly be aware that there's no games that we're just mailing in here and punching your ticket to the next round, because it has been really competitive, and a lot of fun to be a part of, really.
The meeting that you had with USC Wash, well, all of you guys really struggled with their length and shot blocking inside. Have you addressed that this weekend? And is there something that you guys can do so that you guys can finish a little bit better around the hoop this time around against them?
Yeah, I think when you look at some of those guys on the front line, those are NBA type bodies, and without Big Dave in our lineup, we don't have a guy back there that's cleaning up a lot of messes for other people. So you can talk about it all you want, but I think you have to experience it, and we experienced it here at our place. And I hope through watching some of those clips and getting a sense for the fact that they do a great job of protecting the rim, that we're at a point now where we're willing to maybe not test it and see if coach was right, but to actually make an extra pass to somebody else and give them an opportunity. That's part of maybe evolving a little bit offensively. Short of those two things, maybe getting the long broom out in practice and having somebody stand back there swatting all the shots when they try to throw them up. It has a lot to do with a mindset, and I think some of that visually that we hadn't seen until we played USC, and obviously we only played them once, so we didn't have a chance to experience it a second time. But Wednesday night will be an opportunity to hopefully clean that area up.
Coach, it seemed kind of in the middle of the conference season that there was some frustration on everybody's part that nothing was kind of getting through, and then with these last two games, it seemed like everything worked. Is there something you said or something that happened, or is it just a daily grind and you guys just...
Yeah, I wish I could take some credit for it, and say that the plan all came together, but it really has been what you talked about, a daily grind. I'll tell you, I told our players in the locker room Saturday afternoon, and I know that it's kind of like coach speak a little bit, where coaches are always talking about what a special group of guys they have, but in light of what we've gone through, the way we started league and losing some of those close games and then getting drilled pretty good here against USC, I think, as a coach, you try to figure out ways to keep your guys going. And as a credit to them, I haven't had to spend a lot of time on that. We've come into practice, and I used the example from the Bay Area when we lost a couple games, and the Cal game was a heck of a lot closer than the final score. I know it was an 18-point deficit, but it was a game that we were up 5 just before halftime, and a lot of good things happened, and it was disappointing. And then, a few hours later, we're jumping on a bus to go to practice at Stanford. And as a coach, you're driving in the bus thinking, boy, we're going to have to figure out a way to get our guys, to bounce back and think about this next game. And they actually gave me a lift, just the way they jumped off the bus and started practice. It was like, I started getting goosebumps thinking we got a pretty special group, because when you have when you have enough guys that care as much as the coaching staff cares typically and really want to put the fire out and get better, it's kind of like you can't coach effort. And I thought it was really special and an indication that our guys were going to stay with it through thick and thin, and it was nice to get a couple of wins. And I don't sense that we're going to walk down on the practice court here shortly and have guys walking in thinking they've arrived, because we're just kind of sticking with the plan that we're going to try to get better every day, and then hopefully some things will fall into place for us. So it's been a very collective effort by everybody to not throw the towel in, not to give in, and kind of stay the course, and hopefully we can keep this thing going here a little bit.